Hello, everybody, and welcome to the music show. I'm Ray Braselton, your host.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
Today we have for you Josh Forget. He's a very talented young musician. He's a pianist and soloist. He sings with his piano, and he also is a very talented composer. And I think that you'll get a lot out of this show listening to not only his music, that is superb in my opinion, but also his comments and his what he knows. He's gone to the Hochstein School of Music for years. He's just recently been accepted to the Berklee School of Music. I think what else can we say? He's just a fantastic young man.
He's a good singer, songwriter. He writes today. He's going to be doing some lyrical music. The very poetic.
Yes.
Insightful. Some of the lyrics are very insightful, I think.
I think a lot of young people would get a lot out of the lyrics and the songs. There's a little bit of Christian influence in his music, at least to one of the pieces, I believe.
Right.
And I think you'll really enjoy him and all that he has to offer you. We also, of course, have
the regular segments.
Right.
We're going to have a special showcase.
Yeah.
With Josh.
That's featuring you and Josh.
Right. Well, he'll be try to get him to talk a little bit about his background, where he's going, where he is now, just to people who might be interested in pursuing a musical career. I think they'll get some pretty good insight from this. And
you'll also get some insight from the email question that we got, and he talks about composing. And all his background in that, and of course you give your opinions on that too.
Right. Then we're going to still have the Uncle Nick's
Corner. We'll have Uncle Nick's Corner, and then we end up with the round table.
The round table.
But you know, like we've had a lot of very good shows. I think you're going to find that this one will be. We've had shows from all over, from all over Russia and all over the East Coast. So,
they've been a lot of them have been different. I think they'll find this one different, unlike any of the others.
Yeah, and exceptional. I think you'll like it. So we won't try to convince you anymore. You just stay tuned and
don't touch that dial.
Enjoy the show, everybody.
We know where you live.
Hello, my name is Josh Forget, and I am a composer and singer-songwriter from the town of Williamson, outside of Rochester. This first song is devoted to my grandpa, and it's a story song about getting old and how you're dealing with it. There's an old wiry man sitting next to me. He's shaking like a willow tree. His body's been uprooted by the bumps along the tracks. We've been sitting on this train for quite a while, talking about what's to come. He's been telling me the story of someone he used to love. Oh, he can't remember much. His life is long forgotten as the train rolls on, as the train rolls on. His roots are slowly lifting with the setting of the sun. He's been telling the stories for quite some time, and I can see his hands are shaking. He's been painting me a picture of the man he used to be. He'd been riding the train for many years, and he'd always been persistent. he was due to make his payment to the master of the train. But oh, he can't remember much, his life is long forgotten as the train rolls on, as the train rolls on. His roots are slowly lifting with the setting of the sun. We've been riding this train for quite a while, and I can see his eyes are fading, and he says to me, my boy, I'm getting ready to depart. But before I could reach out my hand, he rolls himself above me, placed a trembling hand upon me, said make the most of the ride. But oh, he can't remember much, his life is long forgotten as the train rolls on, as the train rolls on. His roots are slowly lifting with the setting of the sun. There's a young man standing next to me, taller than a sequoia tree. His leaves are still waving in the wind of the open door. The train has stopped moving as he walks away from me. He'll be a man not soon forgotten by a little man like me. No, I will remember him, his life won't be forgotten as the train rolls on, as the train rolls on. His roots are slowly lifting with the setting of the sun. His roots are slowly lifting with the setting of the sun.
This song I'm about to play you is written by myself, as are all the others, and it's called Nebraska Highway. And the point of this song was to take those feelings of youth that I want to preserve since I'm still young and put them in a song. So here it is.
It's a rainy day on the old Nebraska Highway. The windows are rolled down so the rain can hear the sound of our singing, of our singing. Oh, there's water running up and down our shirt sleeves. Because we're much too young to bear the weight of caring. Oh, and I would drive across this land with you for the first time since you've been on our own. And Why should we grow up so fast when so much more to do for the first time? Because I'd rather be with you for all my younger days than grow up and lose my innocence to find you gone and far away. Oh, it's a rainy day in the rusty roadside diner. The coffee's weak in taste and cheap, but we don't care, we're low on sleep and conversation. Oh, we've been talking about our childhoods for a while now, about adventures in the trees, birthday party jamborees that made us happy. Oh. And I would drive across this land with you for the first time since we've been on our own. Why should we grow up so fast when there's so much more to do for the first time? Because I'd rather be with you for all my younger days than grow up and lose my innocence and find you gone and far away. I would drive across this land with you for the first time since we've been on our own. And why should we grow up so fast when so much more to do for the first time? Because I'd rather be with you for all my younger days than grow up and lose my innocence to find you gone and far away.
Hello, welcome to the music show, and we're doing a different kind of a showcase today. We have done showcases where we talked about equipment, we've talked about different musical instruments, we've talked about guitars and different kinds of guitars. We've also done a few student showcases, but here tonight, or today, we're talking to Josh Forget. He's a singer, songwriter, all-around musician. Relatively young. How old are you, Josh?
18.
18. Wow. To be 18 again and not know what I know today. And you've been playing for...
Well, I started when I was 6. So,
right.
12 years.
12 years. And you say that you really started to become serious about it
when I was 16.
About a few years ago. Right. Now, one of the things that we'd be interested in, because I think what we like to do on this program, besides bring you entertainment, is to bring you some ideas, especially for aspiring musicians who would like to go along that route of becoming a musician. Did you have any formal education before?
Yes. I started out when I was 6, very informal, Informal.
Informal,
And,
informal, right.
And I was just taking piano lessons from my neighbor.
Uh-huh.
And it was strictly classical.
Right.
And at that age, I wasn't interested. And she told me I was too creative because I would take Mozart and change it.
Uh-huh.
And which is wrong, but I didn't know.
Well, yeah.
And so she kicked me out.
Oh, no.
Much. And then from there, I took a little hiatus, and then I went to a new teacher.
Right.
Named Val Walford, and she was really, she's another local teacher, but she was really the one that told me that I can compose instead of just play piano. And I had written one song. I wasn't really into songwriting at the time, but she heard one of my compositions that I played for her in a lesson. She was very open to creativity.
Right.
And she recommended me to the Hochstein School of Music in Rochester.
Right.
And I began going there, taking composition under conductor and composer Nancy Strelo. And I would say of all of my teachers ever, as far as music in general, composition especially, Strelo was the one that pretty much told me that I could make a career out of composing and or songwriting.
Right.
And from there, I just began composing things for small ensemble, and it was mostly instrumental stuff, you know. And,
did you have an outlet for it, for this composition, when you composed for a small ensemble?
Like, would they play it?
Yeah, who played it?
Yeah, well, at first, they didn't play it because I wasn't really that good. Yeah, I knew how to write for solo piano.
Right.
Because I had taken, during that brief hiatus, I had composed 6 or 7 songs just for solo piano that I could play. It was neo-romantic, I would say, is the style. And I cut a CD because my father owns a video production company. And so I gave that CD to my teacher. And she said, okay, now you have to take those ideas in the solo piano and, you know, spread them out to other instruments. So I wrote an arrangement of Carol of the Bells for string quartet and piano. And that was my first piece that was ever performed. And that was at the Hochstein School. And from there I got into writing art songs and orchestra. I wrote a piece for orchestra which was played last May by the Hochstein Youth Symphony.
Now, at this time in your young career, how long ago was that? What are we talking now in the time frame when you started doing that?
I mush high school together because it was really, I wasn't serious about composition at the beginning when I started going to Hochstein. I loved it, but I didn't think it was realistic as a career yet. So I was doing freelance piano at restaurants and stuff to make money. I'm not good at bagging groceries. And
thank God.
Yeah, so after a while I just became like everything I was doing was music. And it was either playing other people's music in the orchestra with percussion or at the restaurants on piano, like jazz standards and stuff like that. And then I played in a worship band at my church for a while, and I stopped doing that. But then I just fell in love with music, and I got this aspiration to be a film composer because I love orchestra. And I just think that in today's world, if you like classical music and you like jazz and you like, you know, songwriting, that's one of the careers you can follow where you can kind of blend it all together. You know? So I would say, I mean, I'm still doing the same thing right now. Just I've written a lot more songs. And along with that, so I'm taking the lyrical parts of my musical knowledge thus far, which isn't that great yet, and the instrumental parts. And I'm trying to combine the two different things, you know, like the classical world and the pop world, because I don't like them separate.
Earlier we were talking about the lyrics and the poetry of the music. I know, you know, when somebody would say poem or poetry, they would think of rhyming meter or they would think of something written out. But a lot of the things you did brought the poetry into a music sense, and it melded really well. And I think that that's something that you can't really learn a whole lot. You either have it or you don't. And it speaks to people. I know sometimes people can't speak for themselves, but that's why music and lyrical music is so popular, because you would see a song and say, this is what I want to say, but I couldn't say it.
Yes.
So and I think so far you do that well, especially in your age bracket.
Yeah.
Now, are you still studying?
Yes.
Are you doing any? Are you still private lessons, or?
I do private lessons and public. I'm in the honors certificate program at Hochstein for composition, and they have certain requirements for that.
Right.
We're required to take a music theory, AP music theory, music history. Those are our group things, and I take private piano lessons. That's where I do a lot of classical stuff for my college auditions and stuff like that. And but I decided that I wanted to do more than just the minimum requirements, because I love music, and I actually won a scholarship that allowed me to take more private lessons. So I started taking private voice and private percussion. And I actually was chosen as the conducting apprentice for our orchestra. So I've done a little conducting too.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah, it's very unique, because I've always wanted to do that, but I didn't think it was realistic at my age.
Sometimes we have to put aside what we think is realistic, because if we go with what is always realistic, or we never stretch ourselves, then we always are playing behind. You know, it's like a baseball player that gets paid for what he did last year and not what he's going to do. But, you know, you need to. You really. I think that's a good advice for anybody there, is not to put any kind of limitations on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I think I spoke once before in one of my Uncle Nick's corners about putting limitations and not being afraid to get to a point where you fail, because if you don't get to that point where you're at the edge of your of your game, so to speak, it never progresses.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I mean, when I was told that I was chosen, I'd never even dabbled in it. I just said on my application that I wanted to learn it because I wanted to compose and conduct my own pieces. So I mean, it was pretty much just baptism by fire. You know, they just throw you in there.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, they teach you how to highlight the score.
Yeah, it's like going down a roller coaster. Not sure if it's really a bottom to the roller coaster, but it's there. You know, I think that's actually part of faith too. But
yeah.
So now, at this stage in Josh's career, what's your next step? What's happening now?
Right now, I've been applying to colleges, and I was just accepted to Berklee College of Music in Boston.
And that's no easy thing.
No. Yeah. It's my dream school. It always has been.
Right.
You know, because it has a lot of pop music, but it also has a good classical base that I could get, and a lot of jazz.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably, of all the jazz players that I know that are educated, Berklee is like, you don't hear too many jazz players coming out of Juilliard or Eastman. And even though, well, I shouldn't say Eastman, because they do have some, but really the real mean players are from Berklee. And the thing about Berklee, I think too, is it gives you something where you're really, it's the guts of music. It's the real music there. So I think that's so. As far as you know right now, that's where you're.
I was very excited when I was accepted, but it costs a lot of money.
Right.
So the only way I'd be able to go is if I got scholarships. So hopefully it'll work out.
Well, they say wherever there's a will, there's greedy relative. No, there's a way. So,
yes.
But do you have anything else you'd like to add? Anything of interest? I guess recently I've just been I've been composing at a way faster rate than before, like to the point where I don't really want to do anything else. You know, even social things. I mean, you kind of have to force that sometimes, but I find myself just wanting to be in front of this thing all the time, and I like it. And I just wrote a piece for percussion ensemble that we're going to be playing at Hochstein on
March 25th of this year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'll be neat.
So,
This is, what year is this? 2009?
2000.
Right, so.
So that should be neat. And I guess that's it.
Well, we wish you all the luck in the world, but we know that it's not really luck. I mean, there's a lot of other things entering into it also.
I agree.
Okay, so thank you a lot. And until the next time, we'll be seeing you.
Pictures uploading into my mind, a labyrinth of stories to undermine, the methodical mildew of another day, pencil and paper. But bright is the sun on the pages of the prelude of tomorrow, tomorrow. La 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 la. La 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 la. Why can't I take another day frowning rainy clouds hanging over me, hanging over me? I'm gonna breathe in the sunshine, let the cool winds touch my skin, take a stroll along another path, feel the grass beneath my feet, but not till tomorrow. Trapped at a desk in a boiling room, my brain is tired now, just wanna move away from here. Someone rambling in the front of the room, waving his wand across a board of black and white and orange and green and everything in between. By now I'm feeling quite lethargic, he's cast a spell of boredom over me. I'm nodding off, I'm nodding off, I'm nodding off, I'm nodding off. Oh, I can't take another day frowning rainy clouds hanging over me, hanging over me. I'm gonna in the sunshine, let the cool wind touch my skin, take a stroll along another path, feel the grass beneath my feet, but not till tomorrow.
Hi, welcome to Uncle Nick's Corner. It's another session. I'm Nick Rita, your host, not your host, your co-host, the music show, but your host of the Uncle Nick's Corner. Tonight I'd like to, or today I'd like to do a song for you, go over another chord solo. This one's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Now, one thing when you're doing chord solos is you have to pick out the right key, and I don't even remember where I learned this. I learned it a few years back, and it's in the key of A, and the reason it's in the key of A is you have some, you can make use of open strings a lot, and that's very useful. I know I remember reading and I heard a Moonlight in Vermont by Johnny Smith, thank you. And he actually wanted to do, and I believe it was in the key of A, he wanted to do that song, but the whole song needed to really be in the key of E flat or something like that. So he played a beautiful introduction and then changed keys just to get in the right key for the song, but to play that beautiful introduction. But let's get started. First of all, we're going to start with the, and again, whenever we play chord solos, we always try to put the melody note on top. And we're going to start with an A minor, or I'm sorry, an A major 7, and we could either play it like this, or we can play it like this with the low A there. And then we're going to go to an A6-9, and then another voicing of the A major 7, which puts the melody note at this G sharp. Then we're going to go down to this weird chord here, which is actually, I was thinking about this chord, and it's actually an A major 7 with the A minor with a major 7 and a 13th with it, and then back to this A major 7. That's just getting the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string on the 2nd fret, and then the 4th fret of the 1st string, and give you the G sharp as the melody note. And then we're going to go into a A7 type chord, but it actually has that sharp 5 in there, so it's an A7 augmented. And then I'm going to go down to an F sharp minor 7, and then a D major 7, or a D major 7 that I could either get here open, or I can get it up here. And then the next chord is going to go down chromatically to a C sharp minor 7, and then we're going to change that into a C sharp diminished. Then we're going to go back to that D major 7, and then we're going to go to this half diminished. We can call it a B half diminished. Sometimes these chords can be named different things because of where they are. For instance, a diminished chord could actually transfer and be called a 7 with a flat 9. But in this case, it is a half diminished. And then we're doing this little thing here. Oh, let me do it again. Where it gets that. And what's happening is this is coming down chromatically. And then I'm going to go to this chord. Where am I? There it is. Sometimes unless I'm doing it and doing it right away, it's hard to find the chords. But that's an F sharp augmented 7th. And that's a little rundown there chromatically. I won't explain that right now. If you want, I do have this all in tablature. Then I'm going to go to this, which is just the low E, A, E, and A. It's almost like a power chord. Then it's going to repeat. Same thing for the second verse. Then I'm going to go up to here. I have a C sharp here and a B here. So the melody is, but it's going with this A, G sharp, G, and then we're going to go to this. And then we'll go to a D major 7, and then this D, it's actually a D7 type chord. Then repeating that. Then we'll go to a C sharp 9, and the melody note is the top 2 notes of that chord. Minor, C sharp minor 7, or C minor 7, and to a B7, and then to a E7 chord right here, and then this E or an F diminished, and then I'm going to go to this. That's actually an E9, and then I'm going to go to a B flat sharp, or B flat 7 with a augmented 5th here. Let me tell you something about that chord. I'm playing this and getting that. This is actually the same chord, except I'm using what's called a tritone substitution. Here's the root of that chord, but I'm bringing it down an augmented fourth, and it's that. And the reason that's nice is because now I'm just a half step above my resolution. So that would be and then back to the beginning. And notice I can articulate with my fingers the way I like to do that, but this could also be done just straight picking. And then to this. And then the ending major 7, that F diminished, and then to an A. And that's another A6/9, but instead of playing here, I'm playing the open notes down here and combining, and then again, if you'd like to know more about this, I can if you get in touch with us, I can get you a tab sheet on it. Again, that Guitar Pro is such a interesting thing to use because you can put your notes on the tab and then it gives you the musical notation right above it. And someday I will do a session just on that computer program. It's pretty good. But until next time, we'll be seeing you. Bye-bye.
This is a mellow love song, one of many that I've written, but this is by far my favorite. It is called Leaves of Winter, and it's pretty poetic for me. I'm very into poetry, and this is kind of me dabbling in that a bit.
Your auburn hair is dancing in the alabaster wind. Don't fly away, don't wisp away before my love for you is hidden by 1,000 miles. Your elegance is captivating, stealing this boy's heart. Don't let me fade away to linger long and drink the fateful cup of silence. Oh. And the lowly leaves of the winter floor, the pale cheeks alive with color, will grace the cotton ground while I whisper love and sighs right back to you. Decay, the winter winds are melting, the auburn shades of fall, but death is no thing, for snows can kill as well as nurture lonely hearts like yours and mine. And the lowly leaves of the winter floor, cheeks alive with color will grace the cotton ground while I whisper love inside, right back to you. Right back to you. Your loving words carried by a downy flake will flutter softly to my ear, where each charming breath will lay upon the breathless soul. And the lowly leaves of the winter floor, pale cheeks alive with color will grace the cotton ground while I whisper love inside, right back to you, right back to you.
Once again, welcome to the Music Show. I'm Ray Braselton, your host.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
We have for you today Josh Forget, and he is from the Rochester area, actually from Williamson, New York, and a very talented young upcoming musician, also composer, and we're glad that you could join us today, Josh, to be on the show. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And we have several questions for you, and we want to get a little more insight from you, and talk a little bit about your future and what you're doing now. But I guess to start with, we have to go to the mailbag question, and maybe you can help us with the
This is a good question to get when Josh is here.
Right. And
give us some help with this one.
But the question being from Gary asks, I am now about to compose music, but I have no way of going about it, no way of understanding it, and how do you get started? And that's basically the question he's asking. And thought maybe between the three of us we could come up with a little bit of an answer, being that you're a composer. That's so you want to...
Well, I think probably one of the first places to start is with music. We're writing music, so you should have a basic knowledge of music. Whatever instrument you're using, obviously, you should have a basic knowledge of that instrument, but also scales and harmony, and I think that's a good starting point to have that knowledge behind you as you start. Josh, you do a lot of composing. So
yes.
Do you have any process that you go through when you compose a piece of music?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the process that I go through is entirely based in a feeling or an emotion. That's how it starts out, and a desire to write for a certain setting or a certain idea. And so I value technical things a lot, and I do that the second step. But the first step for me is, number one, having the desire to write a certain piece.
Right.
Number two, having, you know, the relatable idea that other people that are listening are going to be able to relate to it. You know, something that is all-encompassing for people in general.
Right.
You know, that's my second thing. And from there, that's when I sit down at the piano, because that's my primary instrument. If you were a trumpet player, you'd probably start there.
Right.
If you're a guitarist, you'd start there. But the neat thing that I like about the piano is that for no matter what ensemble I'm writing for, I can imagine the different instruments. So if I'm writing, you know, for orchestra, you know, I can imagine the low bass notes down here, like with the basses and the cellos,
Right.
that bass, you know.
Right.
And then if I wanted, you know, like a flute line or something, I could be playing it up here, like, you know, something like that.
Right.
So what I do is I play it for I compose for solo piano first.
Right.
I get it in my head what I want on the piano. Then I would go to my music software, which is I use Sibelius notation software. There's also Finale or Cubase you could use. And I prefer Sibelius just because that's what I started out with.
Right.
And then I go through orchestrating it. And personally, I do it very vertically, which means that it's based on, you know, the chords.
Right.
So if I was writing a piece that started on a C major chord, I would go, you know, if it was in 4/4 time, I'd have a whole measure of C major chord. And I'd have, you know, a melody over that, like a something like that. Then if I wanted to go to an E minor, the next measure I go to an E minor chord, and I'd outline that in the strings or whatever section of the orchestra I was using to outline that chord. And sometimes it can be brass or woodwinds or something. It just all depends on the textures you're looking for. So you could also compose more horizontally, where you're more focused on the counterpoint and the melody, which is pretty much, you know, you're just arranging harmonies according to certain set of rules that you would learn if you studied theory. And I would say that's another important thing, is get a theory book or go to a theory class and learn your stuff. Because that's your toolbox. It might not be very fun, but I would say that when you learn, when you learn that stuff,
triads,
it helps
and
you.
the sevenths, right? And I, you know, I think with the vision or the desire to want to get to point B, you know, going through point A seems to maybe even be a little bit more exciting. You know, where you're looking at those the building blocks, the fundamentals.
So what would you say? Point A is desire.
Yeah, definitely.
Point B would be
Filling in your musical blanks with theory.
When you talk vertical, I just assume that comes from vertical notes on a stem. I don't, you know, that's why I'm asking. You know, because that would be your chords.
Yeah.
Vertically.
I mean, when I'm speaking about vertical, I'm talking about, you know, different instruments in a score type thing, and you line those things up vertically. But that's not the way everyone does it. That's my personal style. But I mean, there's an element of that sort of thing and everything, and you can mix up horizontal and vertical. I mean, you don't even have to think of it in those terms if you don't want to. But yeah, definitely, if you don't have the desire to compose, there's no point in composing.
Sure.
So when you say I write a song, you really mean you write a song. Where a lot of people who write songs for bands that they're in and everything, they like play it on a tape recorder and play it back. And so this guy is a true composer, I would say.
Yes, and with my lyrical songs, since they're just for me and I remember them, I don't usually notate them. But if I were going to have like a band play it, you know, I'd notate out the music and the chords.
And that would be a difference between composition and arranging.
Yeah.
Because you already have the composition, but now you're going to put it into a context of a band or an orchestra or whatever. Did you ever, I just thought of this, did you ever have any desire to take any of your lyrical work and do it like with an orchestra backing you, or?
Yes, I have had a desire to do that, but I think it's not really my favorite style with vocals and orchestra, because I don't know, it's just personal taste. I mean, I would do it if I was hired to do it, but I wouldn't do it for fun.
Of course, if you were recording some of these, then you would probably of necessity want to put some in either a small combo or a small orchestra,
string orchestra or something like that.
Well, I guess Gary, I think you've got our answer. I think that was a.
What was Gary's last name? Indiana?
It was no, I think it was Colorado.
Oh. Is there a Gary,
But,
Colorado?
But thank you, Josh, for the insight on that, and Nick too, for all your insight and all that. Don't forget also that we have. You're more than welcome to and invited to give us some questions. Encourage to send us some questions. The email is right there on your screen.
Yeah.
So
Mike does a good job of putting that on there.
Yes, he does,
and sometimes reminding us.
Yes, send it to us, and we'll try to answer them the best we can.
Also, if you have any more questions about composition, you can visit my website at www.virb.com/JoshForget. And my email is jforget@rochester.rr.com. So.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but if you have any interest
as far
in
as contact,
right?
You are available to do stuff, gigs and things like that.
Yeah, I freelance.
Weddings, bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's good. We got
that. That's the same contact information.
Yeah. I also do film scores. So.
Okay. Oh, that'd be a nice angle too. Somebody who had a wedding and would want a special song composed especially for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah. I get 10% of that idea.
Well, I must say it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. Seems to me that he's got a future ahead of him.
Yes,
You know, with going now to Berkeley, being hopefully going to Berkeley. When would you be going next year, possibly?
It would be this fall.
This fall,
It's
and
2009.
you'll be able to.
It's the way I remember from you saying before. It's more a financial aspect right now. And,
So anybody has any scholarships out there?
Not saying anything, but you know, alms for the blind.
So I think we anything we missed, Uncle Nick?
CDs.
CDs.
You do have
did you say you had a CD?
Yes, I have a CD of all of my instrumental piano works, and I'm in the process of cutting the lyrical CD right now. And it's the same contact information for that.
That sounds good.
You do also venues. What other venues? I mean, do you do any like church venues or?
Yes, I briefly played in a band for my youth group, and I also play like special music on Sunday mornings when they ask me to.
That's great. And you do other things other than?
I saw you at Earth Tones.
Yeah.
When you're there.
Yeah, I play. I play coffee houses and restaurants.
Any other?
Katie and Sarah.
Yeah.
Any other places that you can mention that? But Earth Tones, you said.
Yeah, I play Earth Tones. I used to play at Hedges 9 Mile Point restaurant at Webster.
You know where that is.
And I was the grand piano guy in the corner. And I've done a lot of, I played a lot of venues, the Green Lantern and Fairport and the Inn on Broadway in the city.
Right. And at this point, you really don't have anything of a steady
steady
gig?
Except I'm scoring a Christian TV show called 7th Street Theater.
Oh, that should
Wow.
be
It's airing on 4 channels. So.
That'll be neat.
Yep.
That'll be good exposure.
Well, we've got your information, your contact information with all that you've seen today. You may have more questions for him. Please get a hold of him. He's willing to talk about it and answer questions.
Yep.
And Josh, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yep.
We sure enjoy it.
It's been a pleasure.
Nice, great young talent to look forward to. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on The Music Show. We'll see you soon.
I hear a voice call my name. I wonder what's happening to me. Could it be that all this time you were talking to me? As I stand here on the edge of what could all be a dream, I know